sort of a requirement for the evening, if there is such a thing. So we're going to begin with a little piece that sort of turns into a call and response. I think you need to know 3 Hebrew words to be able to sing it. So you're going to repeat them after me, and then we'll go into it. I know there's call and response, but now you'll know the words. So say hamakom. Okay, first of all, what does hamakom mean? The place, right? Also, makom in our tradition is like a code word for God a lot of the time. So we'll just let that sit there as you think about that. Hamakom we got, and then Bowie, Vishalom. Vishalom. Vishalom?
Vishalom.
Vishalom. All right, so what does Bowie mean? It means come. And then Vishalom means in peace, right? So we're going to open this way. We're going to sort of invite Shabbat. We're going to invite Hamakom into this place, God into Hamakom, this place, or maybe we're inviting Hamakom, who could be God, to also come in peace, to join us as we ease ourselves into this sacred time.
May all who come through these doors find comfort in our sacred space. May our sacred songs open our hearts, infuse us with hope and wonder. May these walls never divide us, just protect us, create us a Beit Elohim. Hamakom, Hamakom,
So we are in the Hebrew month of Elul. Some of you know that. If you don't, welcome. We are here, which means Tishrei is next, which means we are literally away from welcoming 5785. And although the work of Elul is also supposed to be the work of every day, one of the things our tradition invites us to do, in particular during this month, is to make time and space to think about where we've been and who we've been and where we want to go and who we want to become in the next year. And most of the time, if we're really being honest about that work, it will require that we probably have some conversations with people we love, with ourselves, maybe with God, right? That this is not just meant to be like quiet work we check a box and do as we walk into synagogue on Rosh Hashanah. We're really supposed to be putting in the time this month so that when we get to Rosh Hashanah, and particularly Yom Kippur, we feel like we have said our sorries or forgiven what is forgivable, that we have given some thought to what we really rocked this year and what we got to work on in the year to come, so that we're ready and we're not just starting the second the music starts when we get into our sanctuary. So one of the ways our tradition helps us to do that, because it's not easy, is that we have this tradition of hearing the blast of the shofar actually every day. Although we do it on Shabbat, every day during the month of Elul. We are commanded not necessarily to blow the shofar, but to hear the shofar, right? So that we can be called to attention in this month. Period. And every week brings with it whatever it is that we bring with us into Shabbat. Sometimes it's all joy. Sometimes it's mostly sadness and struggle. Probably most of the time it's a little bit of both. And I don't know, for whatever reason, the end of this week, I'm sort of in a more melancholy place. Not sad per se, but feeling the weight of the world and conflict and loss, just as much as I'm holding joy and these beautiful young people in front of me who we are so excited to welcome into Jewish adulthood this Shabbat. So I was drawn to a piece that my very dear friend and colleague, Rabbi Evan Schultz, wrote this week, and I wanted to offer it. This is kind of a us and God conversation part of Elul, rather than a each other conversation part of Elul, which I will get back to later in the service. I scheduled a morning meeting with God. Subject, role clarification. God was 5 minutes early. I was 5 minutes late. My youngest missed the bus. God seemed agitated. What's this about? Role clarification. We humans feel like we're shouldering a lot of the load these days. We need some help. God burst into tears. A daily occurrence. You cover the earth, I cover the sky. Haven't we been over this? God replied as she stared out the window. Well, it's not working very well, I replied, as I tried to discern what God was staring at. God was silent for what felt like an eternity. I can't heal the sick or stop wars. I cannot prevent evil or calm the seas. I cannot change hearts or bring peace. I can pray for you and send angels to earth. I can offer you strength and cry for you. I can craft beautiful skies and incredible sunsets. And I can believe in you. And then I burst into tears, a daily occurrence. So the blessing for hearing the sound of the shofar begins the way blessings begin, if you're familiar with our formulas, and it will end, Lishmoa Kol Shofar. So if you would like to, I invite you to join with me. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar.
Tikiya.
Page 138. All of our page numbers are in brackets, so we are looking for bracketed page 138. take a moment and try to find someone you haven't yet greeted. If you're sitting with people you came with and you already know, do a hard thing and make a new friend. You can do it. Turn please to bracketed page 142. We offer these words of Shalom Aleichem, very old words, newer melody. I'll note that if you look, there are 4 stanzas to this poem, and the first word of the 4th stanza we are going to sing differently. You might forget between now and then, but I'm going to tell you anyway. This poetry was written about the ministering angels of Shabbat. At the end, we would say, Tzeitchem l'shalom, go in peace. But we sing, as it was written, this particular arrangement, we sang Shuvchem l'shalom, asking the angels, instead of going, to return. I spent a lot of time this afternoon commuting in and out of the city to go to be with a small group of colleagues in New York City to listen to a member of the Knesset whose name is, in Israel, whose name is Gilad Kariv. He's also a Reform rabbi, and he is just a tremendous leader right now in our movement in Israel, and also just in Israel in general. And we spoke at length about all of the things that are occupying our hearts and our heads these days. And I was remembering and preparing for tonight that shortly after October 7th, in one of the many gatherings praying for the safe return of the hostages in particular, they called on this arrangement of this piece, of this Shalom Aleichem, praying along with the ministering angels that the hostages would return, right? They would shuvchem l'shalom, they would return in peace. So whatever it is that you are breathing in as we make space for Shabbat, whether it is ministering angels, whether it is just letting go of the stuff that's sitting on your shoulders, this melody is repetitive, and we hope if you don't know it, you will know it, and you will join with us as we welcome Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Orchem leshalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leshalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shuvchem leshalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
To light our Shabbat candles this evening, I'm going to meet you over there. It's Gertmans and Rands, 4 and 5 of you. Please join me over here, page 120.
Oh, hear our prayer we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love, and bless them likne shel Shabbat.
All right. It is just about time to continue to sanctify, to make holy this day, which we do with the grape juice that's in here. And it's our tradition at Barnard, as many of you know, and if you don't, now you know, to add our blessings to the cup, to make the day even more holy and more special because of what we share with each other. So, what's been good this week? Oh, come on. Family, great. Wonderful. The weather. Yeah, I just will say, I don't need it to be 80 degrees right now, personally, but I'm glad you're happy. I really am. I'm ready for like sweatshirt weather here. I'm here to say it. I'm sorry that makes people cranky. Jordan. Basketball, like playing or watching? Both. Excellent. Rebecca. Returned awesome people in our lives, safe and sound. Excellent. Alex. Baseball. Playing or watching? Playing. Okay, cool. Charlotte. First day of school. Was it awesome? Was it a good full first week? Good? Yeah, we got some excellent people up here becoming Jewish adults. That's right. Jane.
Tomorrow, my grandson is doing Meet the Author.
He's the author. Yeah.
Just in high school, and he and his father wrote a children's book.
Amazing.
Being read up at the library in West Nyack tomorrow at 1.
Awesome. I want to repeat for our friends who are joining from us from home that Jane Simon shared that her grandson and his father, your son, have written a children's book, and they have a Meet the Author event in West Nyack tomorrow. Very cool. What else? What's good? I'll share some from here. So remember, if you're writing, that's awesome. Joanne shares that she got to meet the artist during an opening of an art exhibit this week, which was cool. And she stopped into a shop where they make violins, which sounds very special. And Felicia Halpert shares that she's back and still grateful for the beautiful beaches, ocean, and sunsets of Cape Cod. That sounds like a lovely place to have been this week. Anyone else? Anyone else? Elizabeth. Ooh, Australian friends visiting. That's fun. Cool. Yeah. If you'd like to help us plan for our community picnic for Rosh Hashanah, Rebecca Creston is a great person to talk with about that. Sorry. I guess I could share a good thing that I'm starting to be less confused by how to see out of my new progressive glasses. So if I look confused up here, it's not you, it's me. And it's hard. Like, I haven't tripped yet, but I'm not ruling that out as a possibility of something that would happen to me in these mid-40s glasses that have just entered my life. Okay. All right. Sasha and Hayden, I'll give them really to you later, but on behalf of Barnard, in particular the Men's Club and the Sisterhood, these bags, one for each of you, has a Kiddush cup and a Chanukiah. We specifically give you ritual items that we know you can use, right? You know how to lead Kiddush. You're about to show us that right now. We know you've been lighting Hanukkah menorahs for probably most of or all of your life. So first of all, I want you to feel like you could do this Judaism thing, right? Like, you got this. It's okay. Everything's fine. Stay here. We're good. Everything's good over there. Everything's good. Okay? Second of all, these are our ritual items that you can use that will help bring you together with people, right? You can invite people to share blessings as you offer Kiddush. You can invite people to come light your menorah with you as you bring light to dark days. So we hope that when you use them, that you will use them, and especially that when you use them, that they'll remind you of this Shabbat in particular, but bigger picture of Barnard and of your connection, and a reminder that you are always home here and always connected to us, even if you are somewhere else. Okay, great. So I know you want to lead, but I'm just going to say a couple of things first. So When we assigned all of the dates, we didn't initially put you together, right? You ended up together as things shuffled, as they often do. And I'm so happy about that. I feel like together you are each, and especially together, a pair who bring joy and kindness and smiles, both of you. You greet people with like real smiles. We can see it in your eyes, not just in your mouth, right? And you speak, even when you're stressed and frustrated and you're not sure, you look for goodness and you look for ways to bring people together and to lift up the things that are good. And if that is what you bring with you into Jewish adulthood, which you are already going to do among many other things, and I'll say more to you tomorrow, but even if it were only that each of you brought into Jewish adulthood, then you would lead us to a place where we could create connections that are really based on commonalities and helping each other and finding joy and blessings in our lives. We could say for that Dayenu, we won't have to because there's so much more tomorrow also, but just to notice that your presence, each of your presence and together, make us better and make us happy. And it's really joyful to be welcoming you this Shabbat into Jewish adulthood. And so Sasha and Hayden are going to lead us in Kiddush, which is on bracketed page 123, and I would invite everyone here to please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzah banu, b'shabbat kodsho, v'yahava, uvratzon hinhilanu, zikaron lema'aseh boreshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zeicher l'tziyat mitzrayim, ki banu baharta ve'otanu kitashta mikol ha'amim, b'shabbat kadshecha Ahava uvratzon kinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat.
We remain as we are, bracketed page 146. 154. Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך וכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
In the place of Micha Mocha, since October 7th, we have been singing these words, Captives of Hope, and I did just try to look around and see who might need words, who might not. There are more sheets here. It's pretty simple. These words are a blessing that thank God for making us captives of hope. We began to offer these words right after October 7th, when we were particularly and really solely focused on the return of the hostages. The Hebrew is a play on another blessing in our morning liturgy, where we thank God for freeing the captive. And as these last 11 plus months have continued, we have continued to pray for the hostages' safe return. And we have also expanded our circles of hope as we have needed to lean on hope in different ways. So, of course, still for our hostages, and also for an end to this war that will bring hostages home, that will stop tragedy and illness and famine in Gaza, in southern Lebanon, in places where people are caught in crossfires of war. We are hopeful for a world, a region we haven't known yet, but that we believe can be. And I'll just note tonight that we are getting ready to return to singing Micha Mocha also, and we'll say more about that during the High Holy Days. But as we approach this 1 year anniversary of October 7th, which happens to fall, of course, right in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that we are going to make our way out of this year with these hopes and prayers still, but also with a return to the liturgy that is here for us because we need it as well. So as we offer these words, if you have these words in front of you, if you know them, then just please join with us.
Baruch atah Adonai, asher asanu asirei tikva. Baruch atah Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'amidenu shomreinu Shomreinu lechaim Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'amidenu shomreinu Shomreinu lechaim Uvros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha Uvros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'amidenu shomreinu Shomreinu lechaim.
Page 164, please rise.
Adonai Sevatai Tiftach Ufiach Itehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VeHaNorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei HaKol Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot U'migula Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Hozer U'Mashiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai B'chayei HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia Morid Hatal B'chalkel Chaim B'chesed B'chayei HaKol B'rachamim Rabim Tomech Noflim B'rafei Cholim Umatir Asurim U'mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot U'midom Melech Melech Memit U'mechayem U'matzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah l'chayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai B'chayei HaKol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kedoshim b'chol yom Yehalelucha Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue privately through pages 180 and 181. You may do so seated or standing, as is your custom. it's traditional during the month of Elul. We've sort of done it differently tonight, but usually in concert with hearing the shofar, to offer these words of the Psalm 27. And as I started with, when we think about Elul, we are sort of asking for, and we are making space for ourselves to do the work of the holy days, to do the sort of feeling good, and also the places we have work to do. And we don't have to do it alone, right? So the words of this psalm we'll hear in a minute, Achat sha'alti, there is one thing. I don't have the words in front of me. Me'ed Adonai, that I ask from you, God, right? So I don't know if you have a practice of asking God for things or of talking to God, but perhaps as we listen to these words tonight, that you could just be open to what that could feel like. You're going to be open to some support, to some help, to the kind of relationship that allows us to grow when we're killing it, and also when we have some work to do. One thing I ask of you, God. What would it be? Torah portion this week is called Kiteitzei, and we are all too quickly, in my opinion, making our way through this book of Deuteronomy, but we'll be here for the night. There's a verse that we might miss in the middle of it that reads as follows. You shall not hate an Edomite, for they are your kin. You shall not hate an Egyptian, for you were a stranger in that land. So first of all, who are the Edomites? Esau, right? So the Edomites are the descendants of Esau. Remember, Esau and Jacob were twins, and let's just say we went our separate ways. So you shall not hate an Edomite, for they are your kin. They are your family. And you shall not hate an Egyptian, for you were a stranger in that land. So why would the Israelites hate either of these people? Let's just clear that up. I know that there's 2 people in the room who know the answer to this question, but I won't make them answer because they're going to read that tomorrow. But why would they hate either of those people? First of all, the Egyptians are easy. The Egyptians is easy. Why could the Israelites hate the Egyptians? We're not talking about like the current modern day people of Egypt, right? We're talking about the biblical Egyptians. What'd they do? Okay, we were slaves there for a long time. Remember? Good, okay. And why might we hate the Edomites? Oh, Cheryl. Yeah, Jacob and Esau had a rough relationship, right? And they are among the people who we struggle with in the Bible, this other people. We are told over and over again in the Torah not to forget what happened to us when we were slaves in Egypt. Actually, we make sure we never forget that by not only reading it when we get there in the weekly reading, but retelling that story every year on Passover. It would be easy for the people to feel like they might hate those people who enslaved us, right? And now the Israelites, remember in the book of Deuteronomy, they are looking at Israel. They are on the shore, basically, of the Jordan, looking into Israel. Moses is not going with them. Moses is getting ready to die. And Moses is reminding them of all these things that Moses doesn't want them to forget when they get there, right? So after all this time, like years and years and generations even of traveling from Egypt to Israel, escaping this horrible slavery, and now Moses is telling them not to hate the Egyptians? Why do you think? Why not? Why shouldn't they hate the Egyptians or the Edomites? Jordan. Was your hand up or no? Were you with your hand up? Oh, no, okay. I thought your hand was up. You're playing with your kippah. Why might they hate why might they hate them? Why might Moses tell them not to hate them? Yeah, Max. Forgiveness. Say more, Max. That was very deep and one-worded.
It's a common Jewish teaching that you have to always remember, but you always have to forgive.
Great. So I'm going to put a pin in it because not hating doesn't have to be the same thing as forgiving. And that's not exactly where I'm going, but it's important because sometimes we can move past something that we can't forgive, right? Sometimes people do things to us in our lives that we decide that we need to move through or move past. It doesn't mean we have to forgive them, but it's a beautiful goal, right? And that is where we're going here because of this month, this time of year is ultimately to get there. Was there another hand here or no? It's fine. Oh, Hayden, of course. Oh, you can say. Great. So maybe Moses is reminding the people that not everybody in these groups of people who are not our friends are our enemies. That's a beautiful reminder, right? We sometimes lump people together. People do that to us all the time, right? We have lots of beautiful variety in our communities, and it's a reminder perhaps to try to have personal relationships and not make assumptions about people. Lovely. Okay. I'm going to add to all of your really beautiful ideas. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs teaches us on this that maybe what Moses meant was Moses was telling the people that in order to be free, which is the whole point of this journey, right? They're trying to get there to be free. In order to be free, you have to let go of hate. In order to be free, you have to let go of hate. If they continued to hate their enemies, if they walked into Israel and built homes carrying that hatred in their hearts, then they would essentially, at least spiritually, still be like slaves in Egypt. They would not have left the thing that they've worked so hard to get away from. Those chains, when we feel that kind of anger and hatred, can be that constricting. Okay, but what if the people are really bad? Like, what if it's the Egyptians, right? And they're really enslaving us, you might say. Well, nope, the Talmud says still, you have to let go of that hate. You don't have to forgive them, but you have to let go of the hate. First, we're taught in the Talmud to correct ourselves. Then maybe other people will follow where we can work with them, but this is the only person I have any control over. We are taught today, you cannot create a society, a free society, a just society, a society where we care for people on the basis of hate. We can't form relationships based on resentment or rage or a sense of injustice or humiliation or the desire to hurt the person who hurt you. We have to live with the past, Moses is telling them, but not in the past. And this is important because we're told over and over again in the Torah, 36 times actually, that we have to remember the stranger because we were strangers. But those verses, that commandment, is never connected with an instruction to take revenge or to do to somebody else what they did to us. Just to remember the stranger because we were strangers and to build a world that has not come from hatred. Don't forget. Don't carry the hate with you. So here we are, it's Elul. I've told you this now 3 times. What's the name of the month? Elul, good. And this is the time that we're really supposed to do the hard work. We're supposed to go into the new year like the Israelites were going into Israel. We have to let go of the anger. We have to not go in and build a year out of hatred and resentment or personal feelings of failure, right? This is our time to try to free ourselves of those chains that Moses can see will keep the Israelites constrained, that we can see could keep us constrained as we start a new year from like building the society they were going to build, from being the person that we could become this year. And that's hard, right? I'm not suggesting that's easy. For some of us, it's all about how we see ourselves. For some of us, it is about people in our lives with whom we have really difficult relationships, right? They've hurt us. There's a sort of ongoing current of anger. We get stuck in loops, right? For some of us, it's about the world. Like, what do we do when the world makes us angry and we can't fix it? I wish I had an answer for you, totally, about how to navigate that feeling that I feel every day, especially right now. But I do know, like I tell my kids, that the only person I have any control over is myself, right? And that's what Elul is for, to notice the things that are making me stressed and anxious. Like, what makes you stressed and anxious and angry? Call it out. Do it. Okay, well, particular politicians is the way I'm rephrasing what I heard, and you can decide who that is for you. Okay, what else? Dishonest people. What else? Work, school. Sorry? Schedules. Oh, like being on a schedule? Or like busy schedules? Like being an Uber driver for your child. Okay. Yeah, that can be stressful and hard. What else? What else is hard? What makes you angry? The bus. Okay. Charlotte. Math. Okay, good. Now let's dig a little. What else makes you angry? What are things that we have some control over, or things that we have control over how we react to that weigh on us? Anti-Semitism. Electronics. Yeah, that's a great example because we cannot escape them. We cannot escape them. But we can be thoughtful about how we interact with them. And that's hard. I will tell you a very short little mini story that I was at camp for a couple weeks this summer on faculty, and I was teaching going into 10th graders. And in a moment of unstructured time, the girls this group was all girls, it happened to be, and they were talking about, this is their last summer as campers at camp, right? Next summer they go to Israel and then they come back as junior counselors. They were so sad because they knew that this was the last stretch of time in their whole lives. This was them, not me. That they were ever going to be 7 weeks without their devices. And they were so sad to lose this disconnected time, even though it's hard. It is hard to be disconnected, but it was such a gift. It is such a gift, right? That's a great example. We actually do have control over how we use our devices and how we let them creep into our lives. So you get it, right? Some of these things feel like we have literally no control over them. Some of them, well, we definitely have no control over, and some of them we do. No, I didn't hear you say it, but maybe you're thinking about particular people that you might like to live differently with in the coming year. Maybe you are not so kind to yourself, and this is your rabbi telling you that this is an opportunity to figure out not just what you could do better, but what is great and beautiful and holy in you already. I don't know where your work is in Elul, but this is the time. we are told to not hate our enemies so that we can build our society, we can build our lives, our new year, without that heaviness on us, right? The portion begins, ki tetzei lemilchama, which is like when you go out to war. But the sages teach us that perhaps that wasn't literally about like a war, like people fighting, but maybe it was about a war within ourselves, right? Because we always read this Torah portion during Elul. That's the way the Jewish calendar falls. So how can we step back? How can we let go of the things that are causing us not to be able to build this world, our lives, to contribute, to feel whole, and to grow? That's the opportunity of Elul, so that when we get to the high holidays, we're ready for it. So just take a moment, think about what it is that just one thing, I don't care if you don't do this at the moment, but think about one thing you might want to or need to let go of. I'm not asking, this is a private reflection. And imagine yourself standing with the Israelites on the shore of the Jordan, looking at the promised land. Take a deep breath with them. What is it that you need to release before you take that next step into what could be? We offer a prayer for healing for our friends and our family who are in need of healing of body or of spirit. In the middle of page 371, you'll have an opportunity to share the names of anyone you are praying for or thinking about this evening in the middle of our prayer together. Page 586 in the middle of the page. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגבי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים
598. And we remember with love our loved ones, your beloveds, whose yahrzeit fall on this Shabbat or who died in more recent days. Their names will appear here, but I'll pull them out first. Also, just to note, this week, of course, was the 23rd. I don't know if anniversary is the right word, but 9/11. What's the word? Anniversary? Remembrance? Observance. Thank you, Jane. And in our community, two individuals that were here then that we know and remember were killed that day. And so tonight, as we remember everybody who was killed on September 11th, 23 years ago, we also in particular remember within our Barnard community, Scott McGovern, who was the husband of Jill McGovern and the father of Alana and Nicole, and James Giberson, the brother of Richie Giberson and uncle to Justin and Jillian. And with them, we remember these of your loved ones. We remember William Adler, Martin Berman, Zelig Blumberg, Rose Boken, William Brody, Fanny Seicher-Cohn, David Edelman, Marshall Ellman, Shara Evans, Marilyn Falk, Esther Farber, Gwen Feldman, Hannah Fogel, Jerry Gussie Fried, May DeHaan Friedman, Naomi Gandal, Howard Goldstein, Max Green, Lauren Hewitt Branauer, Max Kirschner, Rachel Kisselgoff, Jake Kabalowitz, Louis Kotlis, Richard M. Lannon, Sarah Lappin, Samuel Lipkowitz, Gerard G. Lowen, Alan Lubitz, Celia Mark, Scott McGovern, Abraham Michaels, Eugene Mintz, David Orlick, Patrice Sobenpaz, Daniel Payek, Samuel J. Romer, Jacob Rosen, Jacob Rosenstein, Baron Howard Sanders, Martha Small, Miriam Steiger, Craig Summers, and Martha D. Wormser. During this period of Shloshim, we remember Sylvia Kessler, Shirley Schnitzer, and Maya Gack. And this week we offer Kaddish for Egon Kott, the grandfather of Liz Campbell, and we send our love to the whole Campbell family. If there are others you are remembering and I didn't share their name aloud, I invite you to do so now. If you are observing a yahrzeit this Shabbat or are in a more recent period of mourning, I invite you to rise first. I do this so we might see who the mourners are, the rememberers are in our community. And we say to you, Zichronam Livracha, may the memories of your beloveds become blessings as you weave their legacies into the way that you live. And we rise together on page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivarach le'olam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha b'reichu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel and to all people everywhere, and we say together, Amen. Okay. What can I tell you? Tomorrow there is Torah study in person here at Barner Temple at 9:30. So if that sounds interesting to you, you should come. Rabbi Scheffler will be leading a great Torah study with a potluck breakfast, so you should make a mental note of that. And Rabbi Scheffler's adult ed class begins on Sunday. It's a 3-session class called Stories of Offense and Forgiveness, and it should be great. So it starts at, I want to say 10:45. Is that 10:45 on Sunday morning for 3 Sundays. So you should go because I wish I could. It'll be great. And there's a lot of adult ed coming to you this year, but this is just the beginning of it, and then we'll send you everything else. Please read your emails with all of the high holiday information. That's how you figure out how to get your tickets and your guest tickets and all that stuff. We really need you to do that. Also, if you would like to be a person who stands at the door and greets people or helps people find seats during the high holidays, we really, really need you. Like all that stuff that happens because you help us. Cheryl Thaler in the purple, she's over there. She's a great person to ask about that. Or you can ask me, because I'm also a great person to ask about that. Why not? Okay, and we would love to train you and, have you help us welcome the new year.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Olam chesed yibaneh. Try that. Olam chesed yibaneh. We will build this world from kindness. We're going to sing also from peace and from love. It's very repetitive. You'll pick it up.
Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, yadadai. 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 I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, yadadai, then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Everybody who isn't Sasha or Hayden, please, if you don't mind, bring your prayer book on the way out and put it on the rack. You guys leave them where they are. No one's going to touch them.